Hi, this is Nancy Damiano, garden girl at Two Peas in a Bucket, with this week's Moments video. This week we are focusing on daily life. And so let's take a look at something that we do as a routine in our family. These are my photos of family game day or family game night, something we do every week, playing the Curious George game and funny masks and stuff. So that's something that I wanted to get down in my scrapbooks. Now, the color scheme came from these stickers. They're brand new. They're made to match Pebble's new birthday line. This dot paper also comes from that line, and I just love the bright, fun colors. And then I chose a few things to go with my bright colors and the theme. And then some grid paper, and I'll make a decision on how I'm going to layer these down. Now I know I'm going to use the dots because that was my favorite of all of the patterns, and I wanted to incorporate that big script writing from Bella Boulevard. In the end, I decided not to use it. It was a little too bold. It was fighting with the thickers that I wanted to use, so I did set that aside. I always use a graph. Most of the time I use a graph somewhere on a layout. So I did choose this one. This is also from the birthday line from Pebbles. And sometimes this is where I spend a lot of time deciding what colors to layer and how to layer them. Pink or blue, pink or blue. I always choose the blue, probably because I'm a boy mom and that's just what I'm used to, but either one of those colors would have been fine. And I'm going to base the entire layout on the dot paper. And I like the nice bright white background that it's going to give me because I'm going to have a lot of layers of color on the top of it. So that's why I would choose this dot paper, say, versus that bright blue. Next will come the grid. So that's going to give me a little pop of aqua and somewhere for the eye to rest. Not so much pattern. This gray star paper, I think it's El Studio, but I'll put it in my supply list. I use it all the time. It's such a pretty shade of gray. And it has a very light star pattern too that I like. Now I'm gonna let lots of those dots show. So I cut like 1.5 inches on 3 sides. And then I'll layer this gray right over the top. And I think I use this gray a lot because the photos look good on it. It's a nice neutral. And that's why I reach for it a lot. Next thing that I had in my stash that I love are these mini placemats by Jelly Bean Soup. And I like the different shapes and sayings, and I like that I don't have to fill out my silhouette and make a cut because I am short on time these days. So this gives me the look that I want, that die cut look, and not a lot of time. I'll use one as a frame, one for my title, and the hello spot will become my journaling spot. Now I need to add one more color. This bright cobalt blue gives me that pop of color that I want, and yet another pattern up at the top. This also comes from the Birthday Wishes line by Pebbles. And then I'll put the photos and my journaling and my title in a nice grid formation. That gives me a linear look, which I tend to scrap more towards linear. And it's just an easy way to get everything down on a page and for it to look nice and clean for me. I'm going to staple that photo right on there. The photo does not meet all the edges of the inside of that die cut. And that's okay. I like the framed out look. Now I ran the journaling card through a vintage typewriter that I got for Christmas. I just had to have it, and this is the first time I'm going to use it. And I like that font. I like how it looks a little funky, but it is a lot more work to do it on the typewriter, believe it or not, than just to put it through my printer. Now in this card, you see how you have the gray on the bottom and the blue on the top, and it's sort of split up. I'm not happy with the way that looks, so I'm just gonna cut a little piece of this blue paper and back that so you can really, that love this really stands out and it looks uniform. Okay, just gonna make sure that these four are evenly spaced exactly where I want them before I start gluing them down. This is one of the few times that something really should be measured out. A couple times on this page, you'll see me use a ruler and measure things out. I usually don't do that. I usually just eyeball. But in a grid, and something that's supposed to be straight, it makes a difference. So next up is the title. And I love these letters. So we're going to do them right across the top of the page. And my title is Game Day. I'm going to alternate the colors. I'm going to try to use every color on the sheet. And I'm going to overlap. And there we go. Fast forward through the magic of video. And we have our title done. And our little subtitle up at the top, Love This Game Day. I'm going to try to use this sticker. That was my first idea on how to add my next round of layers. So the sticker was a little flat, and I decided on these wood sprinkles, also by Jelly Bean Soup, and they're like huge giant enamel dots in a sort of a wood background. And I think they're fun and bright and just add that texture that I'm looking for. Now, I thought about this flare, but as you can see, it sort of fades into the background. It's not quite bold enough for the boldness of the page. I'm going to move on to the other side, and you're going to see up the right side of the page, I had this sort of blank spot there. And these stickers by, these are Simple Stories Daily Grind, are the perfect shape and size, and then they give me that punch of rainbow color that is really going to make a bold statement on that side of the page. So I'm going to make sure that they run in a really straight line up the right side of the page. So I'm going to mark off, I think this was, I can't even remember, I think it's like 1 1/4 inches. I'll run a nice straight line down there, and then I have somewhere to anchor all of these little flag stickers down. And I love that they also went with the theme. So this activity, Family Game Day, is something we do every week, like I said. So having the months of the year run down the side ties into that. I got lucky with that one. And then you'll see how it ties all the colors of the page together as well. And I left that space because I knew I was going to run some type of border sticker there, but I didn't know that I was going to use these specific ones. Now to add a little texture to that line, a row of stickers, I'm going to add matching enamel dots. So I'll use a red, orange, yellow, green, and work my way all the way down. So again, more texture, more color. And you can see how it ties all of those little flags together. It's really subtle. In person and video, it's a little tough to see, so I'll show you a close-up shot. And I also added some stitching on the left side. There was a little bit of an odd space there between the sticker and the edge of the white die cut card, so that's why I did that. I'm going to glue down the wood sprinkles, because I am happy with those. And then I added a few wood stars by Studio Calico. And that was just to repeat the wood element found on the sprinkles, and adds a little movement to the page. Now the die cut card is very white, so I'm going to add a little bit of color, and I'm going to use a date stamp that also has a little saying. It says best day ever, and I like to add the dates on my page a lot. And I did it in a teal color. Actually not a teal, it's more like a cobalt color. It matches the diagonal print at the top. And one last little wooden sprinkle and star to this corner here. Again, it just looks like those were sprinkled on, literally, and it adds movement to the page. And that completes our page on daily life using a really bright, colorful line. I hope this helps you out the next time you go to scrap your family's favorite activities. Thanks for joining me.